One of the most common things I hear in response to a negative album review, or even a somewhat lukewarm, middle-of-the-road, meh album review, is if you don't like it, then don't listen to it. And I've always found this to be a really, 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 really dumb and stupid argument for a multitude of reasons. Because, how exactly, Metal Fart Muncher 9705, am I supposed to figure out whether or not I like something unless I've heard it? Unless I've listened to it? How? Am I supposed to use my psychic mind powers? Am I supposed to just roll the dice and make a guess like we're in Las fucking Vegas? How? Genuinely how? It's also dumb and stupid because it is such a lazy way to try to shut down an argument, and it completely avoids the fact that sometimes people's minds change with time, and sometimes a band that you didn't like can release an album that you do like, and suddenly, now you kinda like that band, or you understand them better. For example, I am famously not a huge fan of Sanguisugabog's debut album, Tortured Whole. Back in 2021, I argued that it was generic, boring, juvenile, immature, unremarkable, and extremely overhyped. I was, and still am, unimpressed by that album. I was ready to write off Sanguisugabog entirely because of Tortured Whole. That's how much I did not like it. However, had I done so, had I decided Sanguisugabog was not worth my time, had I decided that I just did not like anything about them before having heard subsequent albums, Homicidal Ecstasy and Hideous Aftermath, I would have not found out that actually, Sanguisugabog are really great. Because they upped their fucking game. Their songwriting got better. Their riffs got better. Their production got better. I would have missed out on two really great death metal records. Straight up, Hideous Aftermath might end up on my top 10 this year. Straight the fuck up. I've been jamming the hell out of that thing. And I would not have learned that I liked that album had I not listened to it. I would not have learned that I liked it if I had not listened to it. It's that simple, folks. But Uncle Melty, what does this have to do with Primitive Man? Why do you keep interrupting me? This is my video. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! But you do bring up a valid point. What does this have to do with Primitive Man? I'll tell you. I will tell you. Because I have kind of never been a fan of Primitive Man. I have tried time and time again to get into their music and have consistently been somewhat bored, to be blunt. I wish I had a more creative word to use, but no, I've just kind of been bored. It just always felt like ugly, sheer sonic force for the sake of ugly, sheer sonic force. I never felt that Primitive Man were saying or doing anything especially interesting. It was sluggish and tepid, and it just really failed to excite me or inspire me in any capacity whatsoever. Like Scorn, Caustic, Immersion, none of these albums did anything for me. There were parts of 2022's Insurmountable EP and the 2023 Full of Hell collab album Suffocating Hallucination that I was pleasantly surprised by and that I did think were really ambitious and powerful and cool, but I also haven't really thought of those albums in the 2 or 3 years since they've been released. I felt no need to return to them, so take from that whatever you will, I suppose. I consistently feel like the music of Primitive Man hasn't lived up to the promise of Primitive Man. And as such, I was not really super pumped for this new Primitive Man album, Observance. But, contrary to popular belief, I am not in the habit of liking or disliking things without having heard them. And as I learned from Sanguisugabog earlier this year, it is entirely possible to not love older albums, but still love newer albums from a band. It's weird that some of you guys don't understand this concept. But I do, because I'm an adult. An intelligent adult, dare I argue, at the risk of sounding a tad egotistical. So I went into this album with as open a heart and mind as possible, and god damn it, I liked it. I listened to it. I'm telling you I liked it. I feel like I finally understand Primitive Man now. I feel like I finally have something that delivers upon the promise of Primitive Man. Hell yeah, baby! This is a smorgasbordian collection and culmination of everything that Primitive Man have done thus far. It is Primitive Man at their most daring, at their most inventive, at their most cohesive and mature. It is Primitive Man, in my opinion, at their best. And you know, there's so much about this album that, like, shouldn't work for someone like me. Like, there are so many tediously long, droning, lumbering, sludging sections of, like, death, doom, sludge. It is so abrasive. It really takes its fucking time. It can be grating. The album is 68 minutes long, with many songs clocking in between, like, 10 and even 14 minutes long. But Primitive Man managed to keep my attention by throwing in so many different curveballs and dynamics. I was really on the edge of my seat. The album is incredibly well paced and presented. It has so much to offer, and it is such a bleak, dark, consuming, and cathartic affair as a result of all of that. You've got opening numbers here, kicking things off on an absolutely fantastic note. After this minute-long kind of lurching, menacing doom kind of intro, we settle into some more raucous, groove-laden kind of death doom with these monstrous percussive blasts and these horrifying guitars and vocal outbursts. Dead End Follies said it best, describing Seer as the soundtrack to someone fighting for their soul in real time. I'm stealing what they said word for word. It's that fucking good. Like, bravo. You nailed it, honest to God. Like, there's a real driving force and spirit and resilience to this, you know? A real strength and determination to it. It, dare I even say, has a sense of hope that I'm not used to seeing from Primitive Man. Then there's Devotion, which makes an amazingly sharp yet seamless transition from suffocating, slow-paced, sludgy funeral doom of sorts into more hypnotic, psychedelic, experimental extreme metal. It's every bit as soul-crushing as it is completely mesmerizing and totally immersive all the way through. Natural Law is an absolute beast on the record, clocking in at 14 minutes long and filled with some of the filthiest, most disgusting fucking riffage on the album as well. Menacing, drudging, plodding rhythms and sludgy beatdowns all the way through, volatile black metal outbursts here and there, these kinds of like anxious, jagged, kind of unorthodox, almost avant-garde, noisy metal tones all the way through too. Not far behind it lengthwise is Transactional, clocking in at nearly 14 minutes, 13 minutes and 53 seconds to be more exact, and it is similarly an incredibly tense and nightmarish display of extreme metal. That said, though, the award for Best Song on the album goes to Social Contract. It is also, might I add, in my opinion, the best song Primitive Man have ever made, and one of the most horrifying songs I have heard in recent memory. God damn, what an absolute nightmare. It is incredibly tedious, deliberate, monotonous, calculated. It is full of atmosphere, and it takes its sweet fucking goddamn time. Its foundation is built upon this very simplistic but very repetitive kind of percussion, and it immediately kind of puts you on edge, biting your fingernails, and you find yourself only digging deeper and deeper into aforementioned fingernails as more and more noisy tones and anxious, consuming guitars are piled on top. As it continues to grow and swell, it only gets darker and darker in tone and atmosphere, and sounds bigger and larger, until eventually it just towers over you. at which point only then does it feel comfortable actually introducing some really heavy kind of droning sludgy riffs and heavier metal percussion. There's a somewhat more frenzied and fast-paced kind of sludgy turn around the 7.5-minute mark that genuinely catches you off guard, like a jump scare in a horror movie. You are on the edge of your seat, you're glued to what's happening, and then all of a sudden he pops out with a machete and you're like, ah! That's me during the song right now. By the time the song starts to come to an end, it really just sounds like a maelstrom of misery, a black hole sucking everything in. This song is like being very slowly dragged through a hallway only to be beaten to death and thrown into a shallow grave. Vocals, drums, bass, guitar, it's all 110 million% on point, consuming, agonizing, aggravating. I love how they can also do so much sometimes by simply showing restraint as well. Like, there aren't always these big, flashy, hyper-extreme moments. I mean, there rarely is with a Primitive Man record, but even by their standards, they can do so much sometimes on this album by doing so little. The production here is fantastic as well. The way the record has been mixed and mastered and presented, the way that it has this very big, cavernous kind of sound and feel, but it still has a lot of body and everything is still very transparent and visible. Like, that's really impressive. A fantastic mix of everything I want from like a raw, underground, kind of nasty, ugly kind of sludge doom death record, and also, you know, it still has the necessary polishes here and there, the necessary bells and whistles to make it work. I'm feeling a 4.5 out of 5 on this bad boy, man, and I want y'all to remember this the next time I review an album from a band I have previously not been super fond of. Things change. Things happen. I liked it. I listened to it. God damn. If you love stuff that is miserable, misanthropic, and brutal in sound and in tone and heart, this is the album for you. If somehow, like me, you have not been wowed by previous Primitive Man projects, then perhaps this is the album that is for you also as well? Because, like, why not? One of the most unsettling and horrific albums of the year. This is Primitive Man at their bravest, their boldest, their most uncompromising, at their most ambitious. I love it. I'm totally on board with Primitive Man now. I get it. I really, truly do. I think you will also as well. Check this fucker out. You will not regret it. I promise you. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I am not an expert, nor do I claim to be, so what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching, but wait, there's more! The Metal Meltdown's official Halloween Party 2025! Oh my god! November 1st, we're going live at, I think, 6 p.m. I think 6 p.m. Somewhere in that time frame. 3 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah! I am well aware that it is happening after Halloween, but guess what? Halloween is on a Friday, and if you think I'm not going to be out on a Friday night with my wife, getting drunk as fucking goddamn hell, getting up to all kinds of ghoulish, spooky shenanigans, you are a fucking moron. So, Halloween parties on November 1st, suck it up, you'll be there, I know you will. You ain't got nothing better to do, that's why you're here right now. Boom, subscribe, boom, other videos, join us on Discord, and as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.